story.
Don't close this video. In 1999, Hong Kong was shaken by a crime so disturbing that even today, its name alone still causes unease whenever it is mentioned. The case only came to light because of a 14-year-old girl named Ah Feng. In May 1999, she went to the Yau Ma Tei police station and claimed that the ghost of a woman named Fan was haunting her nightmares. At first, police believed she was making it up, but she insisted and eventually led them to an apartment on Granville Road. On May 24th, everything changed. The case became known as the Hello Kitty murder, not because the name was cute, but because an innocent symbol was used to hide a crime of torture and murder. The victim was a 23-year-old woman named Fan Man Yi. Her life had been harsh from the very beginning. Her parents abandoned her when she was a child. She was raised in a girls' shelter in Ma Ta Wai. When she turned 15, she was forced to leave the shelter due to age restrictions. From that moment on, she was completely alone, homeless, addicted to drugs. She spent some time on the streets, standing in the northern side streets, offering herself to passing men just to survive. Later, she entered prostitution professionally and worked in a brothel at the age of 21. In 1996, she tried to repent, to settle down, to start over. She got married to a man who was also a drug addict. The marriage was violent. According to neighbors, it was full of beatings and verbal abuse. It was clear that her luck in life and in death was devastating. In 1998, she gave birth to a baby boy. Despite everything, at the beginning of 1999, Fawn tried once again to change her life. She quit drugs. She worked as a hostess in a nightclub. She was trying to save money for her child. But this attempt at survival ended in catastrophe. In early 1999, Fawn stole a wallet containing about 4,000 Hong Kong dollars from a regular customer at the nightclub. His name was Chan Man Lok, 34 years old. What she didn't know was that he was a member of the Wo Shing Wo triad with a history of drug trafficking. When Chan confronted her, she immediately returned the money, but he demanded an additional 10,000 Hong Kong dollars as a penalty. Fawn couldn't pay. On March 17, 1999, Chan Man Lok, along with Leung Sing Shou and Leung Wei Lun, and accompanied by Ah Feng, who was only 14 years old, the same girl who would later report them, kidnapped Fawn from her apartment in Lai Yu Estate. They took her to a third-floor apartment in Sim Shat Su, a very crowded area in the heart of Kolum. That apartment became a prison, and worse than a prison. Fawn was held there for over a month. According to Ah Feng's testimony, which she gave in court in exchange for immunity, the torture was almost daily. She was beaten, sometimes for no reason at all, just because they were bored or under the influence of methamphetamine. She was burned. She was tied with electrical wires. She was suspended from the ceiling like a punching bag. She was sexually assaulted. Some reports state that she was also forced to take drugs during the torture. The cruelty was so extreme that Judge Peter Nguyen later stated it was the most brutal case he had ever seen in Hong Kong. Psychological evaluations described the three men as completely devoid of empathy. Fawn died sometime between April 14th and 15th, 1999, after nearly a month of continuous abuse. The exact cause of death could not be determined. The forensic pathologist found no conclusive evidence. The possibilities were severe psychological shock from prolonged torture or a fatal drug overdose. The jury ultimately leaned towards the conclusion that violence was the primary cause. But even after her death, the crime did not end. The perpetrators dismembered her body in the bathtub. They boiled the remains. Most of them were discarded in trash bins across different areas, including Sham Shu Poi, Wan Shai, and Tai Kok Su. However, they kept the skull, a tooth, and some internal organs. The skull was boiled and then sewn inside a Hello Kitty mermaid doll. The doll was also stuffed with dead insects. That detail is how the case got its name. The discovery was so horrifying that even experienced police officers were psychologically affected and required counseling afterwards to cope with what they had seen. Chan Mon Lok was arrested at his home in Sheklai Estate, where he lived with his wife and newborn child. His wife was questioned, but later released due to lack of evidence. Liang Weilun attempted to flee to mainland China, but was arrested in Guangxi on February 14, 2000, after being placed on Interpol's wanted list. The trial began on October 20, 2000, and lasted 6 weeks. On December 7, 2000, the 3 men were convicted of manslaughter, not murder. The jury voted 6-3, stating there was insufficient evidence to prove intent to kill due to the inability to determine the precise cause of death. Despite this, they were sentenced to life imprisonment with no possibility of parole for at least 20 years. Judge Nguyen described the case as one of cruelty, depravity, lack of humanity, brutality, and evil, unmatched in Hong Kong's history. Fawn's skull was identified through forensic photo-superimposition at the Lockhart Road mortuary. Her remains were cremated in March 2004 and returned to her family. The case shocked Hong Kong because crimes of this nature are extremely rare there. An innocent symbol like Hello Kitty became forever linked to one of the most horrific torture cases in the city's history. Even today, questions remain unanswered. Was everything really caused by a stolen wallet, or were there deeper drug-related conflicts? And what happened to Fawn's child after all of this? Questions that remain unresolved. But one truth does not change. This crime happened. It was documented, and it was not a legend. And sometimes, the most horrifying evil doesn't require a monster. It only requires ordinary people in cruelty without limits. This is an image of the victim, Fan Man Yi. This is an image of the perpetrators. This is the doll that contained the skull. And this is the investigation team searching for evidence. It was a painful video to make and heartbreaking to tell, but I tried to soften the visuals as much as possible. If you found this video meaningful, please support the channel with a like and a share.